Alright guys, this is going to be for YouTube user 003 Mach 1. He is trying to convert his Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 to regular Mortal Kombat 3. And he wants to know how to do it and what ROMs to change out. And rather than try and tell him over the email, which would be a lot more difficult and a little bit probably more difficult to understand, I should say, I told him I'd make a video, and I figured I'd make a video for the other people out there who want to do this and need to know how as well. So the first thing you have to do is acquire yourself the appropriate security chip. Now this is going to be rather difficult because they're not readily available. And I'm going to talk about how to change from MK3 to UMK3 and back. So, okay, first things first, you have to find yourself the appropriate security chip. It's U64, and it's this little guy right here. Now, there are 7 different games that will work in this board. This motherboard will support 7 different Midway games. I believe it's MK3, UMK3, NBA Hang Time, NBA Maximum Hang Time, Rampage World Tour, WWF WrestleMania, NHL Open Ice. That's 7. So any of those 7 games will work, but in order for the board to know what game is installed, you have to have the correct security chip. And it's called that for just that reason. Without that security chip, the game won't run. So you have to find yourself the appropriate chip, in this case MK3 and UMK3. So once you have the appropriate chip, which he does, he was able to acquire himself an original MK3, and he wants to convert UMK3 to MK3. So that was the first step, is to find the appropriate security chip. It's U64. You change that out to whatever you want it to be. In his case, change it out to MK3. Next is your revision ROMs. MK3 uses revision 1.0, 2.0, and 2.1. So if you have UMK3, you get rid of the security chip, you get rid of the 2 revision ROMs, and put your MK3 appropriate stuff in the same slots. That takes care of those. Second is the sound. Now there's a certain way to explain this. I'll try and do it the best way I can. The MK3 U2, the bottom U2, U3, U4, and U5. U3, U4, and U5 don't get changed out. U3, U4, and U5 are the same and identical between MK3 and UMK3. The only sound ROM of the 4 that gets changed out is U2. Now the UMK3 U2 sound ROM will work for everything that needs to happen on MK3, but you will not have any attract mode sound. If you want attract mode sound, you have to put the original MK3 U2 back in. So if you don't have one of those or don't want to waste a ROM to burn, you can leave the UMK3 U2 in there and you'll have full functionality for all your sounds for MK3, just no attract mode sound. So that's pretty much all it's going to be. So that's your option whether you want to change that out or not. But as far as to get the game to work, regardless of the sound, since it doesn't have to be changed out, you change out your bottom 2 rows of ROMs here. On UMK3, it uses 110, 111, 112, 113, 118, 119, 120, and 121. Those 2 rows of ROMs, get rid of them. You don't need them anymore. As far as to change from U to regular. So these bottom 2 rows are gone. And what you're going to need to do is burn new sets for MK3, or if you have them laying around, whatever. But you'll see here that on UMK3 the 5th row is not used, but on MK3 it is. And respectively on UMK3 the 6th row is used, but on MK3 it's not. So what you got to do is, since these 2 bottom rows are gone now, you have 8 new ROMs to put in their place. Let's see, the U118, 119, 120, 121 get replaced with the same numbers, only with MK3 information. Now U114, 115, 116, and 117 that are not used on UMK3, the MK3 ROMs of the appropriate numbers go in that spot. So what UMK3 did was it didn't use this row anymore and jumped it down to the bottom row. I don't know why they did that, but that's what they did. So since these 4 ROMs here are not used anymore, and these 4 ROMs here are not used anymore, you're going to have to replace them with the 8 MK3 information ROMs. And that's pretty much it. Like I said, you have to make sure that you get the right information on the right ROM. So for instance, if you're burning your own ROMs and you go into the main files and you burn the information that's on U114, make sure you put it in the U114 slot. You don't want to mirror image your MK3 ROMs to look like this, since they use different rows. Again, this whole row here isn't even used anymore, and you put the bottom row of information ROMs from MK3 in the spot that isn't used on UMK3. So, you know, I have even seen in person MK3 boards that looked like this that nobody ever removed these ROMs from on UMK3, and MK3 still runs. So I guess you don't really have to remove these ROMs, but they don't need to be here, and they're not used, so I wouldn't use them. But it's easier to talk about it and show you than try and explain it on an email. So here it is. That's what it looks like. So if you just mimic what this looks like and change out the ROMs that I described, you should be good. Again, bottom 2 on MK3 and bottom 2 on UMK3. Just make sure you move this set of ROMs from MK3 up to the 5th row that isn't used on UMK3. So I'm sorry if I sound monotonous or going over things more than once or over and over, and yeah, you understand, yeah, I get it, you can stop talking now kind of thing. But I want to make sure you understand, and anybody else who references this video understands, that what you need to change out and how it's supposed to look when it's done. MK3 uses the top five rows. UMK3 uses the top 4. It skips 1 and goes to 6. So as long as you put the correct information in the correct ROM locations, you shouldn't have any issues. And of course, you got to find yourself the right security chip and your revision ROMs, and it's up to you whether you want to change out the sound ROM or not. So, and of course, I could do it the hard way and actually show you and transfer stuff using these 2 boards. I could just take these ROMs out, put them in there, and I could take the information off of here, put it on here, and do a full MK3 or UMK3 to MK3 swap. But I don't feel I need to do that. Plus, these boards work, and I don't want to jeopardize their integrity by doing all that. So, hopefully, you understand, and hopefully, anybody else out there who needs to reference this video can understand. I tried to explain it as best I could. I don't think I have a video like this explaining it, and I don't think I ever come across one on YouTube. So, hopefully, it works out for you. And if not, just ask me some further questions, and I'll try and clear up whatever I can't explain here or you didn't understand. So. Thanks for watching. Anybody else who references this video or watched, I appreciate you watching, and we'll see you next time.